Hey, have you been enjoying the Year Is podcast? Do you want more of the Year Is podcast? Well, I feel like you might not know. We have a Patreon, which means every week there is an extra episode on there. And for as little as £3 a month, the price of a small coffee at Starbucks, you can get that episode. So sign up today at patreon.com/theyearispod. And if you don't, I have gambling debts. They will break my legs. Enjoy the episode.
The Year Is with Red and Bobby.
Testing.
All good on the mics.
Testing.
Right, I'm good to go, Jody. I've got to be out of here at 1:30.
Okay.
In 9 minutes. About the time it takes for Red to clear his throat. He'll clear his throat twice and then leave. Welcome back to the Year Is podcast, the podcast where every episode, me, Bobby Mair, and comedian
Red Richardson.
we travel back to a year in history. We talk about the weirdest, the most interesting, and the strangest things from that year. And today is a really special episode for me
Why?
because we did a live episode on Friday and I wasn't there.
Oh, yeah, you missed out.
And
It
I got
was
a
live
phone
streamed
call
by
from
Next
you.
Up. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes someone calls you and they give you sad news. Your whole family's dead.
Yep.
Oh, God, my whole family's dead. And you sob. Sometimes you get a phone call and there's good news. If you're a different person, that news again could be your whole family's dead, but you hated your family and now you're really happy. The call I got from you is a different kind of call because you were very distressed in a my whole family's dead kind of way, but I was very happy in a my whole family's dead and I'm happy about it kind of way. And rather than me trying to sum up what you told me, I just want you to tell the story because it's really good. And Jody, if Jody was there also.
Jody was there.
So just from the beginning, what happened?
Well, from my perspective, I'll tell it like that.
Yes.
I was doing the live show with Ed Knight, great young man, reliable. He's got his own podcast out now. He's very funny, wasn't he, Jody?
Yeah, he was brilliant. Yeah.
So we sit down. There's about 400 people there.
Yeah, about that.
No, there was to take away quite a few of that. There was a room with people in. Some listeners, some just came up to listen. They'd never heard us before.
Okay.
And I said, has everyone here heard the podcast? And this one guy at the back goes, no. And I said, well, why are you here? And he said, for beers. And I went, right, well, this guy's a fucking twat.
Right away, you're like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, I don't like this guy. Anyway, so I'm doing the gig, and I keep looking at him because he's in my crosshairs now. And I'm looking over at him, and his eyes are like swirling around in his head from my vision because I'm short-sighted. And so I just think he's drunk. So I go, I'm surprised you can still stay awake for this. What do I call him, Jody?
I don't recall. There was just one bit towards the end.
Well, is it roundabout eyes or something? Because he looked like, woo.
His eyes were swirling around
His
his
eyes
head.
were swirling. I thought
Because he
he was
was so drunk.
Yeah, so drunk. So I said, someone give this man some cocaine. And then I just carried on doing the show. And then
But you talked about his eyes a lot, right?
Yes, I talked about his eyes. Swirly eyes, it might have been said.
And angrily, you're like, fuck this guy.
Well, no, I'm still trying to keep the show going. So I'm sort of, here's the show, but also I've got now a side hustle of just digging this guy out whenever I can.
Okay.
And he's like, and I just thought, God, he's fucking hammered.
And does he respond when you say this kind of stuff?
He kind of, not really. What was going on, Jody?
Well, it was just the end final bit. I think. I turned around and he was just like, no reaction, and the person next to him just stony faced.
Yeah,
as well. Yeah.
I thought, oh, sorry, what's wrong with these guys? I get up to leave. And I walk past him, and I look at him, and sat next to him is a guide dog in high vis, and he's looking at me, but he can't see me
Because
he's blind.
So you spent So you spent
I
an
felt
hour
so bad. Yeah.
shitting all over
And the
a
worst
guy's
thing is-
swirly eyes.
Everyone knew in the room apart from me. I kept doing it, and everyone's like, Ed would like change the subject. I'm like, what's going on? Why is everyone so defensive of this drunk
The
man?
funniest part of it is that you were really mean to a blind man because you're fucking blind.
Yeah. If I had better eyesight, I would have seen.
Yeah, but if he had better eyesight, his eyes wouldn't be like that. It's not that you need better eyesight, it's that you need glasses.
I need glasses.
Your eyes aren't going to get better.
No, I need glasses. I would have seen the eyes.
You would have seen the dog.
Oh,
You would have seen the fucking dog.
Why? You got to wonder what the dog. Why didn't the dog give me a woof or something? Let me know. What
They're
was going
trained to not bark.
on. It was fucking insane.
No, I pointed out the guide dog before we even started.
That was it. Dawned on me, and I went, "Oh shit!"
So as you were walking into the room, Jody said, "Hey, there's a guide dog," and you said, "Yes, there is a guide dog." Then you got on stage, and there's a man whose eyes were pointing in opposite directions. You said, "You swirly-eyed fuck." But you got off stage, like, "Oh, that was his guide dog."
I just when Jody said it, I wasn't even thinking. You know, when you're like getting ready for a show, so you don't see it, and like.
So of course you went and you apologized to this man.
Well, no. So I went up to. I don't know. Was it his girlfriend, Jody? What did you think?
I assume so. I hope so. Yeah.
Or Kara?
No.
I don't know. He's already got the dog.
Yeah,
He
he
has a
doesn't
dog.
need two things to
Maybe
guide
girlfriend
him.
then. So I went up and I said to her, I don't know, he was, and I don't know why I was like whispering to her because it's like he's not deaf, you know, but
If
like
anything, he probably has better hearing.
better hearing. Yeah.
He probably
But I
still
just said I'm
hears
so sorry. I felt so bad because when I walked past him, you go, oh for fuck's sake. But also, why are you heckling? Anyway,
He wasn't heckling.
he
you.
said
He wasn't heckling. You asked a question
he
and
said I'm
he
here
answered.
for beers.
Yeah, when you asked him a question.
He could have said, "You look good. I want to listen to the."
He
Oh no,
doesn't
shit, he
know.
couldn't say that.
So all that happened was you said, so the reason you hated the blind man in the first place was you said, as everyone heard the podcast, and he said, "I'm here for beers," which is quite an upbeat answer.
Yeah, I don't know why.
And also he was just trying to have a good time out with his girlfriend. It can't be easy.
Yeah. But he just looked so bored throughout it, but he wasn't bored. That was the
He
thing.
could have also been bored after
I
he
thought
got
he-
slammed a couple times.
I
but
thought he was rolling
maybe he was
his
bored
eyes
of
and-
your ableist taunts.
I had no clue. It was so bad. And then I looked at him and I just went, "Thanks for coming." He said, "No problem," or something like that. And I was like, I'm not going to apologize because that makes it worse. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not sure if it does. I think it might make it better.
No, because I didn't want to be like, "Oh, by the way, I didn't know you're blind otherwise." I wanted to be like, "No, you're a capable human being and you're part of the action," you know? Because I think it's worse to go, "Sorry, if I knew you were different, I never would have treated you that way. I would have been different because you're different."
But I think the tone of voice, the thing you're doing there is the tone of voice. I think you can say, "Hey, man, I didn't know you're blind." I probably would have said that stuff. If I knew you were blind,
Yeah.
are you all right?
Well, where were you?
I was in Wookie Hole.
Yeah.
At
You
a,
cancelled last minute for a gig we booked in March, didn't we, Jody? So me and Jody had to scramble around for a replacement. Luckily, Ed Knight is a dear friend of the pod.
if Ed wasn't there, what would you have said to that blind man? That's the only. If it was just you, if we did the Red and Jody live show,
Oh, God.
and there was no one, because no one to keep you in check.
But Jody could have given me a hand under the on the neck going, "Stop."
I don't know. I don't know if Jody would. I think he would have let it roll because he thinks it's funny.
And we're streaming live. Yeah, everyone knew. I walked off and the next up guy was like, "Yeah." I said, "I didn't know, you know." He's like, "Okay." So for fuck's sake, I'm not going to do that, you know? So Ed, there's a blind guy in the third row. I've written like 5 jokes about him. Leave it to me. I'm going to roast him.
What did Ed say afterwards?
He was like, "What were you doing?" He knew. I had a laptop though. He could have just slid the laptop and gone, "He's blind," and gone.
You would have cried. You would have imploded.
It was bad. It was bad. But then I found out in the Trusty Hog show, someone tripped over his dog. So the man's a fucking menace.
They tripped. No, somebody kicked a dog. They didn't trip over a
Tripped
dog.
over his fucking dog. So he's literally just ruined a podcast festival.
He went to 2 live podcasts
Someone
because
assaulted his dog.
do you know
verbally abused him. Oh God, it's bad.
podcasts are great if you're blind because it's someone just
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
yeah. So he's like, oh great, a live thing I can enjoy, not like a movie because you don't know what's happening.
God. Oh, you're making me feel even worse.
Or
You're
even
right. He goes, "Yeah, this is
this is my kind of entertainment. I'm not gonna miss anything. I'm gonna bring the love of my life and we're gonna go have a great night out. You know what? That guy on the train a couple weeks ago that called me a blind fuck and spit in my face. You know what? I'm gonna forget about that. I'm gonna forget about that.
That's what she said. He's used to it or something like that?
He's used
which
to
made
it.
worse.
Oh my god!
She said, "Oh, it happens all the time." Something like that.
Oh, that's so
It
much
made,
worse.
it made me feel even worse. And I go, who are these animals out there that can't just let him have a nice time?
You!
And it's me.
You're the animal.
But I didn't mean to. I honestly felt so bad. I was like,
Of course.
when I walked past him, when it hit me, because I walked past and he's just looking. You know when you can tell someone's blind?
Well, yeah, you
yeah.
could.
I just went, oh, no. Because when I walked past him, I was going to look at him like, you tried it, buddy.
By saying, I'm here for the beers.
Yeah,
That's what he did.
yeah.
He said the words, I'm here for the beers.
What I got from him is like, oh, he's this like drunken frat boy sort of.
So many judgments of this
Yeah,
man.
and he's just being like, well, I don't care. I'm just here to get drunk. And I said, well, we're doing a history podcast, so. But otherwise, it was fun, wasn't it?
You know those famous history podcasts where the historian calls a member of the audience a googly-eyed fuck. You know those great, well-respected intellectuals who also just started attacking people with weird eyes. We're doing a history podcast.
It wasn't good.
No, I only just like tagged, at, like towards the end when we did go. Are you all right, mate? I've seen your eyes swirl around like 5 times. I was just crying with laughter. That's when I turned around. I was like, oh dear, but it already happened. You were like, why didn't you say it? It's just like, it already happened.
Yeah. Also, I was on one, Unstoppable. No. But the rest of the show was good.
I've had the same thing happen.
Yeah.
Well, I had a guy who was in the front row, and I insulted him, and then he said, I'm blind. And I could tell he wasn't fucking blind.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, you're not blind. And he just sat there and went, I'm blind. And I was like, you're not blind. But the whole audience, obviously, you're in a group. If someone says they're blind, you're not going to think they're lying about being blind.
Yeah.
Yes, then the whole audience thought he was blind. I fucking bombed for 20 minutes. I get off stage. He wasn't fucking blind.
But it's, yeah. That's a mean trick.
It is a mean trick.
But that's better.
He was
situation.
weaponizing blindness.
But you're in a better situation than me.
No, not really. Because I thought the whole time, maybe he's blind.
Yeah.
On stage. So it ruined my performance. Whereas the performance was still good.
Oh, I thought I was absolutely smashing it.
yeah. You thought you were fine. You got off stage and felt shame. I'd rather feel the shame off stage than on stage.
I think you probably should sit at the front if you've got a guide dog, just to let people know, because it is kind of like, it's so easy as a comedian. You've got so much going on, and if someone's like, you go, what? Oh, it takes a while.
So what? He should get into the gig, and then you go up to him and say, "Listen, sir, because of what happened last time, we're not letting your kind sit at the back."
You have
Like,
to sit
excuse me?
Well, because if someone's doing crowd work and they go, what do you?
What do you do?
Like, I've had it top secret before when I said, and this guy wasn't answering me, and I was like, well, cat got your tongue, and then his girlfriend's like, he's mute.
Well, how are you supposed to know that?
Yeah, I know. This is what I mean.
Also, is he?
Well, but he did seem. When you go, oh no, this isn't. He went, and I went, oh yeah.
He's.
But look, it's fucking hard doing stand up. We're not. It's you know what I mean. There's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on, and
if someone shouts out. I put a lot of work into revising a year in history, and some lout shouts out, I'm here for the beers.
After you ask him a question.
And actually, fuck him. He wasn't there for the podcast. He was there for the beers.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, he just got trashed and ruined 2 nights.
I think you're going through the 5 stations of grief right now. We're on to anger. We've went from guilt.
I don't know if he listens. But a lady came, do you remember the guy who came with the corporate lawyer?
Yeah.
She was like a charity worker, and then her boyfriend's a corporate lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah. So me and Ed were like, she builds the well, and he sells the water to Pepsi. He sells it back to them. But she was a listener, so thanks for coming. If you're listening to this one, marry your boyfriend because he seems like he's got a lot of money.
Yeah. Also, then you can do
your good stuff.
like you can do good work while knowing he's bringing home the.
And he can do the bad stuff, but then lie next to you, and it evens it out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was a good night. Apart from that one thing, and if the blind guy, if you do listen, I'm really sorry. I did not know. Just don't shout out, but it's hard.
It's
'Cause I can't-
you
I'm
can
not
actually.
good-
I give other advice. I say if someone asks you a specific question and you shout out one answer, that's fine.
Make sure the answer's polite. Go, I like the sound of it. I go, brilliant. Here for the beers. What, my art? Imagine if you were showing people around your paintings and they said, oh, thanks for coming to my gallery exhibition. And they go, oh, I'm just here for the beers. Rude.
Yeah, but I think you.
When I was in school, I went to a charity event. This crazy teacher called Miss Bird. It doesn't matter. I don't think she's even teaching anymore. Really nice lady, very passionate about music. You couldn't step over. What are those? You'll know these, Jody. These are the floor instruments that you hit with like a spoon. It goes bling, 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 bling. Bring.
A xylophone?
Xylophone.
That seems like something Jody learned to play at age 28.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm learning the xylophone. Jody, say I'm learning the xylophone.
Yeah, I am learning the xylophone.
Exactly.
I'm learning the xylophone.
But yeah, she wouldn't let you stand over them because she said it broke the spirit with the connection with the instrument, so you couldn't stand over them. She was fucking insane. But once I went to a charity gig she put on,
Okay.
raising money for Africa. There was free cakes. You know why I was there? Because of the
Cakes?
free cakes. You know what she did? Because I
What?
came in late and was eating the cakes. Grabbed a cake and shoved it in my face.
How old were you?
I was 13. And then I walked away with my mate. We were swearing at her. And she screamed, legged after me in tears, like, please don't tell anyone. Because it was a moment's madness.
So she just
grabbed
had
a
this
cake and
moment of
smacked-
rage.
Yeah.
And smashed a cake in your face.
And then the next day, I got called into her office, and she's like, "Please." And then the like vice president or vice deputy, whatever, was like, "She loves her job. She's been in tears like all night. Please don't do anything." And I was like, because the thing is, she did actually love her job, and she was a good teacher. So I just said, "No, that's fine."
And you deserved it.
I did, yeah. Well, should I have shoved the cake in the blind guy? So, you're here for the beers. I should have just gotten a pint and just poured it down his mouth.
But-
have a beer.
But in this instance, so she just saw you eating the cakes.
Yeah. And she went, oh, he's just here for the cakes.
But why weren't you allowed to be there for the cakes?
Well, I was meant to be there for the music and the charity.
What she wanted the 13-year-olds to donate
Yeah,
a lot of money.
yeah, I know.
Like what?
I know, it's
What were
like-
you supposed to do
It was
other than
ridiculous.
eat the cakes? You're 13. It's not like you're like, actually, I will bid on that. I'll bid £10,000.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. It was ridiculous. But what I'm saying is, that was similar to what the guy was doing, and I did not pour a pint down his mouth.
It's true.
Imagine if I'd done that. Oh, really? Here for the beers.
Just started.
Made him drink 24.
No, just started pissing on him from the stage.
Here, drink this, you fucking animal.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were blind when I started pissing on you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not acceptable to piss on anyone, no matter if they're sighted or not.
Yeah, actually. I never would have pissed on him.
I never would have if I knew. I'm so sorry.
Who was it? Malcolm Hardy. Didn't he piss on an audience member when he was asleep?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I think a couple of times. And he
Yeah,
used
it
to
was
piss
his-
on the stage and just piss in like the middle of Golden Balloon and things like that.
Yeah, that was the early 90s. Like, you always see they go, this guy's a legend. He used to like shit in a pint glass and throw it at the audience member.
I wish we were still out of. I wish
I wouldn't piss on stage. That's terrible. Would you?
if it was being encouraged. Yeah, I would.
What if everyone's like,
If everyone's like, yeah, dude, it'll be funny, I'd be like, it'll be funny.
we know. Let's go to Bobby's gig with 8 plants that we pay 50 quid each. And we go on, piss on the plant.
No, not now.
And then
Not now.
They'll go. Hopefully, Unilad get hold of it and go. Remember that guy we called the worst comedian
don't need to go back.
in
It
the
was
world ever?
It was Lad Bible.
This is what he's doing now.
Lad Bible said I was the worst comedian of all time, and
It
then
went
they wrote a
viral.
follow-up story. Worst comedian of all time strikes again.
That was good when that happened. Anyway, should we go back in time?
Should we go back in time?
Yep.
Well,
Ooh.
I've got a year. I'm going to. I've done all the research.
Yeah, it's a good one.
You were just laying under a duvet in shame for days.
I have been. I did have a cold shower this morning, though.
Yeah.
My hair is still wet.
Yeah.
trying to get to sleep on Friday night, I'd occasionally just burst out into laughter.
Oh, what about that, really? Oh, yeah, Jody, you had quite the night after you left. You went to a rave, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
In Tottenham.
Yeah, up in Tottenham. So yeah, I did a big mission from Shepherd's-Bush.
How late were you at the
Tottenham.
rave for?
Wait. Save this for the Patreon.
Okay.
We can't get into this. This is Jody hearing about Jody's time at a rave.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well, that's for the Patreon.
A lot of people won't have seen Jody, but imagining Jody at a rave is its own thing. So
Okay, what's that?
we got to use that's definitely Patreon material. If you want, if you want to hear about Jody's time at a rave, you
Yeah.
got to sign up for our Patreon. We're not giving that away for free.
Okay.
That's not. Nobody's just getting that.
I know bits of it, so yeah.
And also, I have a great story about kind of being sexually harassed.
Yeah, you do.
And I'm
Well,
gonna,
you were sexually you were
I'm gonna-
assaulted.
No, I'm gonna say that on the Patreon.
Are you going to mention names because it's someone in comedy?
Yeah, I don't want to ruin anyone's life, but I will. I'll tell
For
that
£3
story.
you will.
Yeah.
All right, let's get.
No,
into-
but that's the people of it's like a little club.
yeah. Let's go back. For
Okay,
for the
we're going
cheapos.
back to 1970.
Ooh.
That's 52 years ago.
Yeah, Brazil won the World Cup.
Where were you in 1970?
Not born.
I wasn't born. Jody surprisingly looked the exact same in 1970. He hasn't changed since.
Who was Nixon was leader, I believe.
Listen, I've done the research.
Okay.
I don't need to start conjecturing on what you think happened in
Okay,
1970
okay.
with your complete lack of 1970 knowledge.
Brazil beat Italy 4-1 in the World Cup final.
I'm not covering that, actually, because I don't care about football.
David Bowie, I believe, was probably in the charts.
Now you just stop this.
Okay, sorry. A year after the Beatles split up. Go on, carry on. What's your first bit of info?
Actually, it was the year that Paul McCartney left the Beatles.
I thought that was 1969. Maybe that was their last gig. That is, so that was the year Paul McCartney left the Beatles.
Officially, but we've covered Paul McCartney a lot.
We have.
Cut that. 1970.
Yep.
It's a big year.
Okay.
Larry Fine of the Three Stooges suffered a career-ending stroke. Now,
Okay.
Did you watch the Three Stooges as
No,
a kid?
but I know of them.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I watched so much of it as a kid.
And it wasn't a life-ending stroke. It was just career-ending.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we use the term career-ending stroke.
Yeah, but he's a comedian. Oh, yeah.
If it,
It's not like
if it was
he's
a
footballer.
life-ending stroke, I would have said Larry Fine died.
But he's,
That's what the word died
but
is
he's
for.
not a footballer.
No, the word died
Yes, I know.
is for when people have a
But if you-
life-ending injury.
Why did it end his career? Could they not have used him in some way?
Well, I think he was a physical comedian. They did slapstick comedy, the Three Stooges.
Well,
like,
there's
they're
a
carrying
place
a
for
piano up a flight of stairs. But when you lose the ability to, wipe your own ass
Yeah.
or move half of your body, it makes physical comedy more difficult.
Him in a wheelchair. A lot of gags there. They could have done stuff.
So you're telling me
I
you're
think
disputing that it was a career-ending
Well, no,
stroke.
I think maybe they could have been nicer and let him carry on. Maybe he didn't want to. I don't know.
Well, okay.
If I had a stroke, I'd want you to carry on the podcast and me just sat here. You'd need a new co-host, but
your presence would be a distraction and a bit depressing, so we wouldn't allow that.
it'd be fine for the audio listeners.
We'd let you sit on the other side of the door and listen.
Oh, God, that'd be horrible.
Yeah, that would be allowed, but you would not be allowed in the room.
Do you know how old this man was when he had the stroke?
Yeah. Well, he died. He was pretty old. No, he was 68.
Okay.
So he had a good 68 years of stooging about.
Yep.
And so you weren't into. I loved the Three Stooges. Were just like,
Yeah, a bit before my time, to be honest.
Yeah, the reruns were always on when I was a kid. And I watched it
Okay.
all the time.
Yeah, well, I didn't think we had it here, did we?
No, we didn't.
We didn't. We had
haven't here.
Steptoe and Son. I love that. Only Fools and Horses, incredible. Faulty Towers, still amazing. Still funny, Faulty Towers. Three Stooges we did not have. What American old shows did we have? I can't fucking remember. Angela Lansbury just died. That's sad. That was a show that was on a lot.
Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah. The Gary Delaney did a joke saying old age she wrote because she died of old age. I thought it was funny. Very fun stuff. Yeah, so they were American, the Three Stooges. Am I right?
Yeah, and but they went on. It went on for years. They and then they got new guys in and like
Really?
Yeah, Fine himself. He was this is it is Wikipedia, which I just love because Wikipedia is usually so objective, you know, or tries to be. And it says he was a terrible businessman and spent his money as soon as he earned it.
Yeah.
He had a significant gambling addiction, leading to him to gamble away at racetracks or high-stakes gin rummy games. In an interview, Fine admitted that he often gave money to actors who needed help and never asked to be repaid. Because of his constant free spending and gambling, he was almost forced into bankruptcy when Columbia stopped filming The Three Stooges in December 1957. So it's like he was just like getting cash and blowing it, getting cash, blowing it. And then they were like, the cash is stopping. And he's like, yeah, I don't think you understand, though. Like, I am used to this amount of money.
Well, that's what Johnny Depp was like that, wasn't it? No, his finance guy was like the cash goes in and comes out as quick as...
Yeah.
It's like there's a 6 month.
I mean, that's the same... People always say that, like, oh my God, this celebrity has spent all their money. And it's like, yeah, so have I. I'm not better than Johnny Depp. I've got like...
if it's 300 mil.
300 pounds go in, 300 pounds go out.
No, I know what you mean.
300 million go in, 300 million go out. Like, it's easy to say, like, well, if I had that much money, I'd save it. I really would. And it's like, how do you know? I've had a couple times in my life where I needed money to like buy something. So I was like, I'm going to watch my spending, you know? And then I saved up to that number, did it again. But right when that's over, it just goes to like, I'm bleeding money all the time. It's like, oh,
and the more
Deliveroo would be good right now.
Obviously the old saying of the more you make, the more you spend. But you got like 8 houses and suddenly each house has a generator and then each house has a pool guy and each house has a boat or like, you know, your daughter's like, Dad, I went on holiday with these horrible people. Can you fly me back? I hate it. Yeah, sure. 25 grand chartered plane. You know what I mean? Like, come to the island. Oh, you've got an island.
Also, if you're really rich and you're a parent, you're probably not a great parent because you're working all the time.
Yeah.
And that's so if you have the opportunity to make that much money, you're going to do it. It's like fucking human nature to just collect.
And your kids hang out with other kids. What you should do is send your kids to state school, even if you've got hundreds of millions of pounds. So then your kids don't get lofty ideas about what should be. Because, you know, you see them like, Dad, we need to go to Greece because everyone's going there. It's like, no, send them to school with poor children so they don't have expensive ideas.
You think?
Yeah. Because if everyone in your class is spending 25 grand in a club on a weekend, because some of these kids are, if you go and you send your kids to school with oil barons' kids, then they're going to go, Dad, I need 10 grand to go to the club tonight. What?
You went to private school for a year, right?
1 year. No, 2. Yeah, well, I was 7 to 9. Hated it. I went to like a military school. It was horrible. It's called Hill House. It's fucking horrible.
Have they have any scandals came out about it since you left?
No, but Jacob Rees-Mogg's kids go there. But he'd love it. So we had to wear pull-up socks and like what they call pantaloons or whatever, like Navy outfit. Like, so we wore these things down to here, knickerbockers or whatever.
Yeah,
what they're called. You can Google the uniform. Google Hill House uniform. It's fucking horrible. And the headmaster was called the Colonel. So we called him the Colonel and used to smoke cigars walking through the place.
I like that.
We used to learn to shoot. All the PE teachers were like ex-SAS or ex-South African soldiers and paramilitary and stuff. I remember this guy called Mr. Clay, and they used to make you like run to the gym. We work out at an army base. You'd run there and you do pull-ups. And he came up to me and I was doing pull-ups. I was like 7, 8 years old.
I just love that like a commando that used to like shoot black people who were fucking protesting apartheid is now teaching you.
Well, Mr. Clay wasn't. He was SAS. But yeah, a lot of them were. And I was doing pull-ups and Mr. Clay came up and like tensed his arm. He's like, this is what you want. And I was just like, it's not. You fuck off. I want to go home and And they take us to Switzerland, and we get up, and you get marked on how you make your bed. And so you get up at 6 a.m., everyone up. And then you make your bed, and they'd mark you because it'd have patterns on it, so they'd have to be completely straight. We go to run to the gym, work out. I hated it so much. And you get marked on everything you did.
Was this near your house? Where was it?
It was in Sloane Square. It was the worst.
In London.
Yeah, in London. So who else went there? I'm trying to think who went there. Have you found the uniform yet, Jody?
Yeah, on Hill House School Wikipedia, the school is known for its distinct uniform, which includes thick mustard cable knit jumpers, rust corduroy knickerbockers, knitted hats and bags in British racing green.
Yeah.
The school was featured in the 1989 documentary episode Knickerbockers in Knightsbridge.
Yeah. So just Google image what the uniform looks like. Bobby, have you?
I'm looking up who else went there.
I think Prince Charles went there in like the
Lily
40s.
Allen?
Yeah, Lily Allen went there. And now does her best to pretend that she was
King
working
of
class.
the United Kingdom and 14 other Commonwealth realms.
Yeah. But just Google image the uniform. All you have to do is write Hill House uniform on Google and then go images. It should be easy.
You just don't have...
They're pretty funky colours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking horrible. But so they'd like...
I mean, it looks like a school uniform to me.
No, what are you looking at? Let me see.
No, the short trousers are horrific.
Yeah, they're absolutely horrific. Yeah, that's horrible. Look at it. Anyway, we used to have to walk with our hands behind our backs in formation, like 2 by 2. And everyone used to just laugh at us in the street. And they used to number you by how tall you were. And I was very short, so I was always number 1. And actually, I remember a young boy from China came in, and he was smaller than me, so he got number 1, and then I was number 2. Wasn't happy about that.
Mark Francis from Made in Chelsea went there. I met him
Really?
once.
Okay. Yeah, so I was there for 2 years. And then I went to King Edward V Community College.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that was just the opposite. You could do what you want there. Freedom.
And do you think when you were there, did any of your teachers have a life-ending injury?
No, I don't think so. But their colonel's wife was struck by lightning while stood on the balcony of their place in Switzerland and died. That was sad.
While you were going
The
to
colonel
school?
met Hitler in the 36 Olympics.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You're 2 degrees of separation away from Hitler.
That's actually true. That's true.
Wait, so you
Closer than most.
you met a guy that met Hitler?
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I've never even thought of that.
I just thought of it.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, 36 Olympics.
So we're 3 degrees away from Hitler then, because we know someone that knew someone.
Yeah,
that met
so you're
Hitler.
three. Yeah.
How old was the colonel then?
Yeah, he was like 90.
No, when he met Hitler.
Oh, probably.
He was
No,
90.
right, no.
He was 170 when you met him.
He was probably like 20. I think he was a runner or something. And so you met him like that. Yeah.
Did he have anything to
There
say
was no
about him?
pictures, but I'm sure they weren't good if they were.
It's like all the people that had photos with them and Jimmy Savile.
Oh, I love it.
When they-
Whenever Piers Morgan tweets something, everyone just goes, "This you, babe," and it's him, Ghislaine Maxwell, him and Epstein, him and Jimmy Savile. It's like every piece of shit. Him and Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, you do meet them all.
Of
you know
course,
what I mean?
of course.
Like,
Listen, yeah. But I mean, it's still fun to taunt him.
of course. Of course.
Trolling the troll.
Yeah. Anyway, so go on. What else happened that year?
Well, in 1970, this musician who I've only just... You ever have it where there's like a musician and you... It's crazy. Their music has been out for 50 years and you've never got into it. So I saw this name, so I'm like, I wonder what that guy's music's like. So I'm just going to play it. If it gets...
Is this a new format? I'm not sure about this.
You know, how's that sound to you? Just listen here. Yeah, just we'll talk over it so that
That does sound good. Good voice.
it doesn't really. You know, that sounds pretty
Wait,
good.
I think I
doesn't
know who this is.
it? Who? Wait. No.
I think
It's
I know
pretty
it is.
catchy though, isn't
It
it?
is, but you're going to trap me because this will be Charles Manson.
It is Charles
yeah,
Manson.
I thought so. I just thought, why would Bobby be playing this? It is actually kind of good. Maybe he had a point. He was ignored.
I started listening to his music and I was like, I'm not being. I was like, I'm sure he was a musician. And then I started
Yeah.
listening. I was like, actually, I kind of like Charles Manson's music.
Yeah, that's.
I'm not going to go like listen to it
No,
at a
that
party.
was quite nice. You should just play that at dinner parties. Just in everyone, Bobby, this is great. What is this? Oh, it's Charles Manson. That wasn't bad at all.
Bobby, who's that painting? Oh, it's a Hitler replica. Just
Yeah,
like surround
yeah,
myself with awful people's art.
Well, talking of Angela Lansbury, who died this week. She.
Do you wait? I mean, Charles. Yeah,
No,
because
no,
the big three is Manson, Hitler, Lansbury.
There's a connection. Lansbury's daughter was involved in the Manson family, and Lansbury had to take her from LA and moved her to Ireland because she was like, this man's so fucking insane.
Really?
Yes.
Got her out.
Got her out. So
That's
she
a
was
good mother.
And then she was like, yeah, and I was like, God, so your daughter's probably shagged Charles Manson. That's bad. And she's like, she's now married and owns a pizza shop with her husband. I'm like, her husband must just go, oh, I've had some exits, but Jesus fucking Christ. But yeah, so she got into drugs. Part of the Manson. Lansbury said that Manson's so charismatic. But it's just funny that Murder, She Wrote ladies met Charles Manson in real life.
A lot of people did that because he was in LA.
She's like, I wonder who did this. And he's there like, ah, there's going to be a race
But that
war.
song was catchy.
Yeah, it was good. That was a good song.
I mean, it starts. I'm just like,
Is that our new intro song? Because no, sorry, Josh. Well, I'm sure he doesn't listen to it, but I'm sick of ours now.
yeah. The year is no more now.
No more. It's Charles Manson.
Also, like, I listen to a lot of the music I listen to now is stuff my dad used to listen to. So when Mabel grows up, he's like, Mabel, what do you listen to? I listen to Charles Manson. That's what my dad
that's
listened
true.
to.
Yeah, he was a guy in like the 70s. Apparently, he never made it. Do you want to play? Let's play a bit more. Actually, I was enjoying that.
Okay. All right. Well, here it is. This isn't bad.
This is great.
Yeah.
He's better than Bob Dylan.
He's not better than Bob Dylan.
That's
yeah.
really good. I can see it now. You sit there, you listen to him for 4 hours, he gives you drugs, and he goes, so why don't we go kill someone?
Like, yeah. The first, his album was called The Love and Terror Cult.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a sign.
Yeah, it is a sign. That wasn't bad at all.
No, I was going to ask who owns the copyright on that, but I guess we'll find out quite
Yeah,
shortly.
oh,
No, but we
shit,
talked
really?
over it. We talked over it.
We-
Which
yeah.
I think can hide.
Can you
that's
hide it?
Yeah, the algorithm's not
Hopefully.
gonna.
And also, it's from a thing. It's not like we're playing.
Someone
it
has to
from-
complain.
Yeah, if you complain. Oh,
Charles
God.
Manson's fucking
The blind
dead.
guy's going to complain
Whatever.
to get revenge.
Whatever. Because it's like there's a record label that would have produced that record, and then that got sold to a different record label, and that record label got eaten up by that record label, then it got eaten by a different record label, and they own the rights to Charles Manson's music. They're
Yeah.
not going to be like, please cease and desist using our client's music.
Yeah. It's not one you own up to.
yeah, you're
Well,
not.
Gary Glitter sold his estate for 6 more. It was back catalogue. It was 6 million in the early 90s or mid 90s, just before it went.
Because he knew.
He knew a change was going to come. But yeah, so someone owns that, but they got a check from Batman.
Yeah.
Dun-dun.
Well, Joker. It was a Joker.
That's a great beat, isn't it? I wonder if there's a club like the Bad Music Club where men go who can't enjoy their favourite stuff anymore. And they just listen to R. Kelly and Charles Manson.
Well, Manson's like a different. Most of the vibes of like the sex offender music is quite like good beat. Manson,
Yeah.
that's more like a chill out and get high music. Which
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
That was what he was into, you
Yeah,
know?
of course.
Whereas like R. Kelly and other stuff is more like bump, you're
Which
grinding.
is
and
always really inspirational.
dancing. Yeah,
I believe I can touch the sky.
buddy.
He believed too much, didn't he?
Yeah.
He really thought he could fly.
I wonder,
He
yeah.
got very close to the sun.
I wonder if he gets respect in prison or
Oh, he's
anything.
big time. You've not seen the videos?
No.
He like does videos for people's daughters, and like they'll like
Like a
FaceTime.
cameo.
Yeah, and he'll be like, "How's it going?" And they go, "Oh my God!" And the dad will be in prison with them, and the women love him still. And he'll
Listen,
go,
I understand, like, if you're in prison, you made some mistakes, maybe you fucking robbed somebody, you're in jail. Keep your daughter away from R. Kelly.
Well, he's in jail.
Yeah, but that guy has his ways. Do not even introduce R. Kelly to your daughter. Don't give him a link because he'll go to the prison computer, find her on Facebook, and get in there.
Yeah.
Like,
What? Yeah. But I bet he smashes it singing. I bet they go, "Can you do a bit of song for us?"
Yeah.
Imagine if he was in the same prison that Cosby was in. And then Weinstein produces the Christmas show.
Yes.
Cosby does stand-up and R. Kelly sings.
Yeah. I said that'd be a great movie.
That's a hot ticket, I've got to say.
Once they get they get everybody who's been gone together and they get them to make a movie. And they only offenders are allowed to make the movie.
You have to have been Me Too.
But then everyone would want to watch it out of curiosity, but the money would just go to victims' charities.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we'd all go watch it. Yeah. No, that's a good idea.
Yeah, they should all go to prison first, though, I think. That would be some feeling of...
Yeah. Spacey's not in jail. He's just sort of...
It's coming.
Do you think so, yeah?
Well, in this country, there's 3. He's up for three charges of, I don't know how pretty serious stuff.
Mm.
And then right now there's a civil trial in America. Another actor is going after him. And then there's another one in America. Yeah, Kevin Spacey, busy guy.
Busy man.
Hey, we have a new sponsor this week. It's DBT UK. If you don't know what DBT is, it's a form of therapy that really helped my life. A few years ago, I had a complete mental breakdown. I was running around a fucking roundabout screaming. I was crying randomly. I was suicidal. I tried everything. And then I went and I did DBT, and it changed my fucking life. It was originally developed for people with borderline personality disorder, but they figured out that it works for lots of people, anyone really that is struggling with emotional dysregulation. If you can't control your emotions or your behaviors, this can really work for you. So I would really 100% recommend it. Like if you want to just message me and ask if you're going through something, message me and I can tell you how it worked for me. If you want to just email them, then email info@dbt-uk.co.uk. And if you mention the promo code YEARIS, you will get half off on your initial assessment. It's a really worthwhile form of therapy that I cannot recommend enough. In 1970, Melania Trump was born. Now, Trump was 24 at the time. And then that got me thinking, I wonder what the biggest age gap between a couple ever was.
So Melania, wait, I thought she'd be younger than that.
No.
So how old is she now then? She is...
52.
She looks good for 52.
Well, she was a model, wasn't she?
Yeah, and she probably just stays away from him a lot, so she's like, just looks fine. Yeah, go on.
So... this is the biggest age gap in recorded marriage history. Gertrude Grubb Janeway, born in 1909.
Gertrude Grubb Janeway.
When she was 18, she married 81-year-old Union Civil War veteran John Janeway on the 9th of June, 1927, an age difference of 63 years. Gertrude was the last Union widow of a Civil War veteran and died in 2003.
That's insane.
So her husband
would
was
have like
born...
PTSD from the Civil War in America.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So she lived... When did they get married?
1927.
So she lived through a World War, a Second World War, a Vietnam War, the Iraq War, and was married to a man who fought in the Civil War.
Yeah.
That's fucking mental.
And she was alive for 9/11.
That's fucked. And like Scream 2.
Yeah.
DiCaprio was like 30 when she died. You know,
yeah,
that's fucking amazing.
What a spread.
Wow, that is a spread, isn't it?
It's a pretty impressive spread.
Yeah, that really is. She must have quite a few degrees of separation with some pretty... Not, you know, like her husband could have met someone who, like, you know...
Her husband...
Napoleon met, you know?
My husband actually met the guy that started the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah. Fucking hell. And she'd meet, like, Iraq war guys in 2001, be like, oh, I know all about it. My husband used to the Indians are coming over the hill, you know what I mean? I saw my mate get hit in the head with an axe.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Jesus.
Yeah, I wouldn't. But what we've glossed over in that is that she was 18 when she married an 81-year-old man.
But she was called Gertrude Grubb.
So maybe
I don't think she was the prize of the town.
I don't know. Maybe Gertrude was like the Candy of the early 1900s, where you're like, who is this hot stripper Gertrude?
What, you think Candy's a sexy name? For
Candy. Ooh, Candy.
Candy. Imagine Bobby called his daughter Candy.
Well, I can't now that I said.
I know. Now you said that.
I can't.
That was the Candy of the time.
That was a name that was suggested at one point to me, was Candy, and I'm like,
Well,
we're
who
not.
from? Who from?
Who do you think?
Pedophile. No.
Like, I'm not calling my child Candy.
Yeah, you can't do that. That's not good.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what an
Gertrude Grubb.
what an 81-year-old and an 18-year-old really talk about, you know?
No. Fucking insane.
And then and then we retreated because our muskets jammed.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I hit him with a cutlass.
Yes. Yeah.
What side of the war was he on? That's quite important.
He was a
isn't it, actually?
unionist.
Okay. Yeah, so he's against the Confederate.
Yeah.
Well, that's slightly better.
What's crazy is
Did he have money? I don't know what.
they lived in a cabin together, and then after he died, surprisingly not long after they were married, she lived in that cabin for 70 more years. And
In a cabin.
he got a benefits check
Oh.
for being
In the war.
in the war. So until 2003,
Fucking mental.
every 2 months, she got a $70 check from the government for her husband fighting in the American Civil War.
Just getting that check. So much has changed. There's like ATMs and stuff like that. It just comes in from this
But, like-
for work for performance at Civil War.
It's fucking crazy.
That's
It's so
fucking
funny.
crazy. Thing is, you know the age gap. If I was a 20-year-old hot piece of, if I was a 20-year-old candy, I'd rather marry an 80-year-old man than like a 50-year-old or 45-year-old. If I was marrying them for money, for that union check.
For that $70 every 2
Yeah,
months.
yeah. For services at the Battle of Trafalgar. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
an 80-year-old, less active, less physically active, would probably be, it's just easier. So, you know, Anna Nicole Smith and people like that, they had a point doing
But
that.
in terms of subtle battles, right? I like to think that the Civil War never ended for some people, because Gertrude, in my mind, was battling Maudie Hopkins, and Maudie Hopkins was the last surviving widow of any Civil War veteran, but she was the last Confederate widow. So the
Okay.
last Confederate widow outlived
Oh,
the
really?
last Unionist widow. So she
Mm.
was 19 in 1934 when she married 86-year-old William Cantrell. Both of these girls really had to take one for the team a couple times.
Yeah. Well, no, probably not.
Well, they would have had to do something
I
sexual.
don't. Yeah,
with this.
maybe once, but then I just think these guys are 86 years old. You know, and they probably go, actually, this is better than marrying some 50-year-old perv who's fucking fat and still able to walk up the flight of stairs. Because their old men are like Daleks. If you just go upstairs, you don't have to do anything with them.
Cantrell supported her with a pension of $25 every 2 or 3 months, and she got his house
That's good.
when he died in 1937, but 3 years after they married. But she received no farther benefits. So Gertrude lived a little less long, but she got the benefits, the $70 every 2 months.
Should have the other one should have been on the winning side.
Yeah.
Marry the winners. Here's the lesson.
And then she
learned.
remarried, and then twice after that, and had 3 kids. So
Mm.
she's married 4 times.
Okay.
So apparently, though, in Arkansas, it wasn't uncommon for young women to marry Confederate pensioners. So, because they were just doing it for the money. They were like, this is a way to get a house. You marry a super old man, you wait it out, you get a house. We think getting on the property ladder is hard, for us.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, God, I have to wait till my parents die. And these people are like, I have to fuck old men,
Wow.
But last living civil war. Pretty good.
I wonder what our oldest listener is. If you're listening and you're old, please write in.
Well, actually, I got an email from him a couple weeks ago. It was he's a blind guy actually, and he really loves the pod. And he said he was going to come to the live show.
He said, "I haven't been out in 2 years because the last show I went to was no. Jesus, please don't. If you do listen and you're off the beers now,
Stop blaming him for your ableist comments.
Fucking hell! What else happened that year?
Well, in 1970. The drilling of the Kola super deep borehole began in the USSR.
What's
Now, that might not mean much to you.
Nothing. Super deep Kola borehole.
Listen, I'm a big fan of the Kola super deep borehole. I follow the boreholes of the world. This deepest borehole ever, they dug kilometers into the earth.
Why?
Just to see how far they could go.
That doesn't seem like a good idea, does it?
Listen, it was a scientific project. Scientists were just drilling into the earth to see how deep.
I don't think we should do that. Do you know what I mean? It still feels like
12,262 meters.
Yeah, leave it.
The deep in 1989. They started in 1970. So over 19 years, and the thing is, the deeper you get in the earth, the hotter it gets.
Yes, there's lava.
So you what happens is by the end they just get a drill bit, and they're like, okay, we're going back down, and then they put the bit down 10 kilometers in the hole. They drill for a couple meters, and then they're like, uh-oh, the drill bit's melted again.
Yeah.
And then they start again.
Yeah. We know that the Earth's core is a ball of fire. I don't think we need to start prodding around with it.
Yeah, well,
they do.
Well, they do.
See how far we can
go. To disagree.
I saw an article. Aren't they trying to come up with like molecules or get temperatures as hot as the sun, like on Earth in kind of like science laboratories? And like
that's
nuclear
a similar
thing. Like, do we need to be doing that?
I know.
Well, Jody, the problem there is you didn't read the whole article. Yes, we do need to be doing that because if they can recreate the amazing thing about the sun is it's look at the sun. Is there any energy going into it? No. But what is it doing? It's giving the whole solar system energy. So if they can recreate a mini star on Earth, it's called nuclear fission. And then it means we have endless energy forever. So
yeah, nothing's ever gone wrong with nuclear.
Yeah.
No, but it's not. No, but
you heard of Chernobyl?
That's a completely different kind of nuclear power.
Sure.
If they come up with nuclear fission, you can have as many hot baths as you want.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
I'd had to cut
10
down
a
because of the
day.
energy crisis.
You keep saying that. I think you had to cut down because you're probably being shamed by your wife.
No, I did. But it's scary times now.
Yeah.
Everyone's bills have gone up loads. Is yours?
Harriet does bills. I do mortgage, so we don't know.
Okay, yeah.
But I think, it's not good.
If you see her looking at a letter and weeping, you'll know that's what it is. Right, wow.
Yeah, listen.
We want to hear about Jody's sordid rave, which I've heard snippets of.
No. We can't listen.
No, we're going to do that
That's
in Patreon.
for the patrons.
We'll do that in the Patreon.
The regular people, listen, if you want to hear
You've gotten your fill this
Jody
week.
at a rave.
Yeah.
And
Bobby being sexually harassed. All in the Patreon.
In 1970, singer Janis Joplin fucking died.
Oh, no.
In 1970, a man-eating tiger is reported to have killed 48 people in New Delhi.
What? Whoa. Back to that.
What? A man-eating... I didn't think that was even news.
Yeah, that is news.
Sorry, it got written on the document
man-eating
accidentally.
tiger.
A man-eating tiger killed 48
Mm.
in New Delhi.
Shit. How do they know it was the same one? I watched Beast the other day, by the way. Idris Elba, you know. For ages, listeners, I've had this idea. I always said, why isn't there a Jaws for the safari world? So I had this idea about A load of people go on safari, their jeep breaks down, and then one by one they get picked off by wild animals. Lions, hyenas, leopards, cheetahs, scary stuff. Horror movie set in the African savannah. Anyway, on Netflix, they made a cheap shit version of it. Someone made that. I watched it. It was fine. I enjoyed it, but it was still, not as good as my one. And then Idris Elba's just done a film called Beast about a man-eating lion, which was good.
What year did that? So these are both current films.
Yeah, they came out in the last 2 years. Whereas my idea, I started in 2015. Fucked again.
All right.
What a life.
I've got a story to end on.
Okay.
Sada Abe. You ever heard of her?
No.
Well, you're about to. So Sada Abe, she was a Japanese geisha. Geisha?
Mm-hmm.
Geisha?
Geisha.
Geisha. And later became a prostitute.
Mm-hmm.
Or a sex worker.
Mm-hmm.
Who
Well, geishas kind of were, weren't they? But they were very skilled.
No. That's a misunderstanding of geishas, actually.
They were more escorts with loads of talent.
Yeah, loads
okay.
of talents. And
Speak like 8
the
languages,
problem is,
juggle.
Sada Abe's father was kind of sick of her, so he got her to train to be a geisha. But you have to start very young for the training.
Yeah, because
to have all these talents to be. So she started too late. So she kind of just ended up being a sex worker because she didn't have all the geisha skills.
Yeah, couldn't cut it.
Couldn't cut it as a geisha. So she's a geisha. She meets someone named Kachizo Ishida.
Mm?
Kachizo Ishida.
I'm sure that's exactly how you say it.
Go fuck yourself. Why don't you go attack someone who's disabled? So, Ishida, right?
Yep.
They're hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
They're having some sex.
Yeah.
They get into choking. She chokes him. He chokes her. One day, she chokes him a bit too much.
Yeah.
He's not really looking like himself. But then he says, hey, this is her version, so who knows what's true.
Yeah.
And he says, hey, when I'm asleep, choke me more. So she does that and kills him.
God, she must have been strong.
And then she removes his penis with a knife. She cuts off his penis.
Was that part of his sex request?
He also
as well?
requested that,
Yeah.
apparently.
Mhm.
And his testicles with a kitchen knife.
Okay.
She wrapped them in a magazine cover and kept them until her arrest 3 days later.
Yeah, I think she's guilty.
Yeah. Nobody's arguing about her guilt.
Don't need Angela Lansbury on
she-
the scene of this one.
She did say that she missed him, and after in the 3 days between being caught and when she removed his penis, she did suck on his severed penis and try to
my
put it inside
God.
of herself.
Where did you find this? This isn't on Wikipedia. This is fucking disgusting. She missed him. I'm going to go out there and say I think she's mentally ill.
Well, listen, justice spoke, and she spent 5 years in prison. That's the
Wow.
great thing about being an insane woman.
Yeah.
It's one of the few benefits of being a woman to a man. If you do something horrific, people have so much sympathy.
And she did regret it.
Like, whenever a woman drowns her kids, they're like, she was mentally ill. And it's like...
Or like a woman will stab her husband 50 times and go, yeah, he was emotionally controlling. You know what I mean? It's like, who isn't?
Well...
If a husband's just stabs his wife and goes, she would not shut the fuck up.
Well, anyway, so she was convicted of murder and mutilation of a corpse. She got out of jail. And, she lived a life. But in 1970, she disappeared from the public eye. Nobody knew what happened to her. And then she was found in the mid-70s in a nunnery.
Oh, that's a good place for her.
And I do think somebody who likes to slice off dead men's penises and then put them in their mouth,
Shouldn't be
a
around there.
nunnery is a perfect place for you.
Yeah, I would not want to have a snooze around this lady, that's for sure.
No.
But we've all been there. You do something in the spur of the moment, then you regret it.
We've all been there. Agree to disagree.
There's
We've not all been there.
There's extremes, but we've all done something we don't. Have you done something you go, oh, I wish I hadn't done that? And then you can't fix it, so you just try and put it in your mouth, Jody.
She also wrote a memoir called The Erotic Confessions of Abe Seta.
That's
It was
not
a
erotic
national
at all. The fucking
bestseller.
opposite. What?
Imagine the family of that guy who had his penis cut off. You're like, can we like not care about this woman's book?
Yeah, why are we making... Also, why is it erotic? This is...
It was like the Jeffrey Dahmer TV shows of its day.
Yeah. But it's like making Jeffrey Dahmer like 50 Shades of Grey. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's not right.
That does remind me of the script I'm trying to sell right now called 50 Shades of Dahmer.
That shouldn't... Well, you probably got more of a chance of that than making something good, because Netflix seemed to eat that stuff up.
Love Netflix, though, and I really would love to work with them on my
I
new
would as well.
50 Shades of Dahmer project.
For fuck's sake.
It's just about a guy who's like Jeffrey Dahmer, but he doesn't kill people. He just has a good time.
Okay.
And then at the end, it turns out, no, he does kill them.
What, so you don't show any of the murders, it's just him in his day-to-day life, and you just miss that bit
you
out?
miss the murders, so you think, oh, is this just a fun guy? And then in the end, it just flashes back and shows, oh, no, he killed them all.
Yeah.
And you're
Okay,
like,
I can see Netflix picking up.
Okay, good.
Because everyone's like, oh, we have too much of like Hitler, like the war. What did Hitler do? Like, I want to see him on a walk, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Well, that brings us to the end of the regular people episode. The episode for the people who don't support us. The people who do support us have more content.
We still appreciate you.
We do.
Red said that.
£3 a month. You
Minimum.
appreciate us?
So, I got to say a big shout out to our 2 super patrons.
Super geniuses.
Super genius.
Spencer.
Matthew.
Yeah.
Thank you. Christopher.
Spencer's actually got his own podcast at the moment. I've forgotten what it's called, but it's in a clip. It's very funny, so thank you, Spencer.
Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. Whatever you're up to, Spencer. The thing is, I love like the people who are really into our podcast, but anyone who ever really likes anything I do, I kind of do think, what's wrong with you? And it's not like personal to them. It's my own self-esteem.
Self-esteem problem.
So I have to start realizing.
And you know what will help your self-esteem? More money. So everyone help Bobby with money. And well, tune in to hear about Jody's wild weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to an episode of The Year Is, with me, comedian Bobby Mair, and my sometimes friend, Red Richardson. This podcast has been produced by our brilliant producer, Jody VandenBurg. Thank you.